It's so funny. When I was reading that dialogue the other day, I was thinking that sounded like you and me just bantering back and forth.
Well, that's kind of part of what's so beautiful and mysterious about it is the fact that the humor in it.
Yeah.
The joy in there's a joy in serving. There's a joy in serving Krishna that you can enjoy under any circumstances. Even you're being chased by these criminals, it's like, and there's a humor that never goes away, or let's put it this way: there's a humor from which our humor stems, and to see it play out in these ways there's something very entertaining and charming about it, but there's even just something that's even like more grave about it, or more deeply beautifully mysterious about it. I want to understand that more deeply. Understand Nityananda, who he is, what is his mood, what is he feeling, what is those are the kind of things.
You coming to me? Coming for some help?
Well, I thought that the man that might be able to help me with this would be wearing fish shoes and have a curly mustache.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from the crest jewel of India, Calcutta, Kolkata. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator of the Bhakti Center in New York, Kaustubha. Welcome to the show. It's Kaustubha and myself in Bengal. He's in Mayapur still, and I'm in Kolkata. Me and Miss Mare are about to head to Goa for some creative seclusion. How are you, Kaustubha? Creative seclusion.
Creative beach seclusion.
She'll be at the beach. I'll be secluding. Actually, she's working on the Wisdom of the Sages cookbook.
That's great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to
How are you?
Wonderful. We had a wonderful day. Today's a big holiday here.
Nityananda, you know what it is. It's the anniversary of my first initiation and my second initiation, and the anniversary of your second.
I think it's known for other things as well, but yes.
Yeah, because it's on a special holiday, which is the appearance of the Adi Guru, the original Guru, Lord Nityananda.
Yeah.
And so that's the celebration today.
Yeah, we've had a wonderful.
Did you do something special?
Well, we went back to the Mud and Gopal temple, and Tara and I had been so inspired there that we donated an outfit for the deities.
Nice.
And that outfit was ready today, and they dressed the deity in that new outfit on this day. And we had some katha there and some kirtan there. Such sweet people. The pujaris that we had met there, they weren't there when you and I went recently, but they were back. And it was just such nice sangha, such nice devotees. It's something about nice devotees. Then we went to Gore Village, a beautiful village here in Mayapur, and spent some time with the Vaishnavas there, with the devotees there, and they fed us, and everything's sweet.
Nice. Yeah. Did you dream of our Mayapur yoga retreat center there? Is that secret?
I guess not. I guess that secret's out.
Our Wisdom of the Sages secret.
We walked around.
You can't tell secrets.
Some of us walked around.
Secrets, you got to keep them secrets. I thought that's the whole fun of having.
That's the part of the secret. You love having a secret, but you have a very hard time keeping it.
Hold the secret. I love having. Secrets are meant to be shared. I think isn't that a saying?
I don't know if that's true. You're the guy that's always promoting the recovery groups here.
Hey, did you see what I got for my my initiation anniversary?
From Miss Mara? Something
I'll give you a hint. Boom.
Oh yeah, I heard of it that you got some of those. Mary, you got
see this? How beautiful. I've always wanted these. Check this out. First of all,
yeah, you got some rubber.
It gives me an extra 1.5 inches. This is a shoe. It's a traditional paduk. They're called paduks, and this is a fish-shaped paduka.
Yeah.
So the paduka means to give dukkha to the pods. They give a little pain to the to the feet. As you can imagine,
Yeah, they
the
look pretty
joint around
austere.
your big toe and your pointer toe. But they say they're good for sense control. They're good for posture. They're good for hitting all those marma points on your feet. And so I'm
Raghunath, if only were
practicing
that
walking
easy.
around huh?
If only were that easy.
Fortunately, in my old age, my senses are a little weak anyway.
Okay. Now, my question is, you measure how many steps you take a day, right?
Yeah, you can't
What's your
take
goal?
many steps. You can't take many steps in these paduks.
But
That's for sure.
you should know how, are you going to take 1,000 steps in those padukas a day?
Today? Oh, that's a good idea. I should like measure. Well,
Per
I've just
day.
been I've just been pacing around from here to there's a little lounge in this hotel where we go and read and have some chai. So I've been
How
wearing
long
them
does it take?
around.
Are you moving pretty slow?
I'm moving a little slow. Truthfully. You got to grip them with your toes, or else they spin like the hands of a clock and can
Right,
cause you to
right.
tip.
It might
That's
be the
probably
slowest
part
I've
of
ever
the
seen you
thing.
move.
Mara's not. You know what? It's probably part of it. It keeps you
Yeah.
sort of sattvic.
Yeah.
And
And
that, but
chill
also
and
that
relax.
grip, maybe how you have to adjust your foot to grip it has something to do with the marma points or whatever.
The posture, the marma points. I think it does as well.
You are an official member of the Clip Clop Club now.
Yeah,
Oh.
and because they're fish shaped, Mara calls them fish flops
That's
instead of flip flops. Where's your fish flops? So I'm walking around my fish flops. I'm feeling pretty good and feeling pretty comfortable. I'm walking slower. I think between my slow pace and my fish flops and my beard and mustache, I've taken on a new persona of sadhu-ness. And my
If only
3
it were that
layers of
easy.
beads. Have you noticed my new beads I've got here? The terracotta.
Terracotta
or-
beads.
They're
What is that?
terracotta beads. It's a Bengal thing, Kaustubha.
Okay.
It's a Bengal thing. It's got
I'm
little
not familiar with
Shiva Damarus on there. You see that?
What's going on? What happened? You went to Calcutta and what did you do?
I'm trying to indulge in the culture, my friend. There's a lot of valuable culture here. Drink it up.
All right.
Okay. So,
Nice. Maybe should we talk about Lord Nityananda? Maybe it'll just come up. I don't know.
okay.
Such a grave topic, such a deep topic, Lord Nityananda.
Yeah. Did you read some pastime today?
We did. We read kind of the first half, or kind of the intro to the Jagai Madhai pastime, where it's fascinating, right? You have an incarnation of Krishna himself, or you could say an incarnation of Balaram, but he's still an incarnation of Krishna. You have Lord Nityananda, and he's going around with Haridas Thakur, who's like this older man, right? But real sadhu. And the two of them are given an order by Sri Chaitanya: just take this message of, the Maha Mantra, go to everyone, beg him to chant Krishna's names.
Do you know the Bengali?
Go to Bolo Krishna, Bolo Krishna, Bolo
Bolo
Krishna,
Krishna.
Shiksha.
Krishna, Shikshna.
Yeah. We're both
Explain
close.
Krishna's message. Speak about Krishna and
Kaha Krishna.
Kaha Krishna. Tell people about Krishna.
Yeah.
Simple message. Just
Simple
go do that.
message.
That's Krishna consciousness.
And you know what fascinates me, and we spoke about this, is that it's said that, as you mentioned earlier, Nityananda is the Adi Guru, right? He's the first expansion that's bringing this kind of knowledge to people, right? Whenever we hear knowledge of Krishna coming down in this authorized way, that's the energy of Lord Nityananda, right? That's his mercy. It's like he facilitates that energy, that Shakti, that power, that transmission of that power. It's generated from him. It's coming from him. But he's also said to be the most merciful incarnation, right?
Sure.
It's like he's the most compassionate. And what I'm wondering about, Raghunath, is because you have, it's not that it's the best analogy, but it's a little bit like me and you, right? Like we're different personalities.
Yeah.
And Nityananda and Chaitanya, like Chaitanya, particularly when he takes sannyas, he's very proper. Like Chaitanya is like very strict sannyasi. And Nityananda is like wild.
It's a little wild.
He's totally
He
wild.
milks the cow. He drinks the milk out of the cow's udders. You can't even get to the wildness of Lord on this show.
He shows up naked a lot. You know,
He shows him naked a lot. He jumps on people's shoulders and says, "I am Mahesh."
yeah, he does all kind of things, and so but all along, you know, his eyes are red and full of tears because he's tasting that Krishna prema and he's feeling this deep compassion and he feels so much for others. You know,
Mm. Or is everybody frozen, or just me frozen, or just Kaustubha frozen? No, I'm good. They're saying I'm good. Okay, so Kaustubha's frozen. I paid for the upgraded internet, so mine is working. So yeah, we were saying he Kaustubha. I'm going to see if I can finish this sentence.
I'm
Are
here.
you there,
I'm
Kaustubha?
here.
Okay.
Yeah. So my question is it that Nityananda, Krishna chooses to appear, Balaram chooses to appear as Nityananda in this wild, beautifully wild way? Or is it just that he appears with this compassion and he just manifests that way? You know, it's like it's not even his choice, but when he's in that depth of compassion, there are no rules anymore. He's an avadhuta. He's beyond our rules, and he's just manifesting in just this incredibly beautiful, wild manifestation of compassion. That's Nityananda. That's who he is. It's hard to put him in a box, you know.
Sure.
You know, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the great author of that, the great saint, he's writing about Nityananda, and he spends a whole chapter just kind of showing how Krishna expands into Balaram, who expands into the Chaturvyuha, who expands into the Purusha avatars that are, you know, maintaining the entire universe and entering the heart of every living being. And that's Nityananda, right? Like when you think of Nityananda, he may be naked, he may be running around wild, he may be crying, he may be saying outrageous things in his compassionate ecstasy, but that's him. I don't think he's just some typical madman. That is, you know, that person that's behind everything. But he does show up in such a wildly beautiful way.
And again, I think I said this the other day also, because we were reading that pastime at the Jagai and Mud I got, that when he sees people doing horrible behaviors, when you want to strike back and when you want to have revenge against those people and you want to say shame them or look at them or look down upon them, it seems like that's a very natural response. But he's training us in his response, which is no, those are the people that you give bhakti to. Those are the people that you reach into their heart and you figure out a way to reach in their heart, and you don't fear them, you don't hate them, you love them, you love them hard. And by pulling them out of that shell, they become transformed. And that's exactly what happened to Jagai and Madai. He didn't give up on them. He went in there, he refused them, and then he got to have a clay pot whipped at his head. His whole torso is covered in blood. And even Lord Chaitanya is like, okay, we're taking these guys out.
They're taking them out. Yeah.
And he just said, please, this is not why we're here, Lord Chaitanya. We are here. Other previous ages, you killed demons. But in this age, we give the holy name to these demons. Please, they are mine. Please, if I can ask one thing from you, give them to me. Let them be my responsibility. And out of that compassion, Jagai was so moved that he was like, this is amazing. This is amazing. And Jagai got transformed immediately.
Was Jagai first or Madai first?
Mara? Jagai was first. You know how you can remember that? J before M. Boom.
That works.
That works. J before M. You can also think of mud eye. Like mud. He has mud in his eye he couldn't see.
And therefore he comes second.
Yeah.
He'd be trailing behind.
Little trivia, ways to brush up on your trivia. Little hacks by Raghunath. Thank you.
Okay.
I think the Padukas give me this type of intelligence. It's all in the shoes and the mustache, my friend. So anyway, so he says, they're mine. I'm going to take them. So immediately, when Jagai was like, this is unbelievable. And Jagai immediately was transformed by the compassion of Lord Chaitanya and by taking shelter. And so he gave him Krishna. Lord Chaitanya just gave him Krishna Prema because, of course, Nityananda says, don't you understand? You can't get mad at Jagai. When I got hit by that pot, he was going to hit me again, and Jagai convinced him not to hit me. And Lord Chaitanya was so moved. He goes, "Oh my God, you care
Yeah,
so
that's
much
right.
about Lord Chaitanya. I give you Krishna Prema." Boom! Hit him right in the third eye. His whole body became electrified. He
I think
became a
third eye
pure.
is mentioned here. I
I
don't know
don't
if
think the
third eye is
third eye,
mentioned.
but I just hit Mara in her third eye, so I had to say that. And so immediately his whole body became filled, and he just started rolling on the ground, embracing Lord Nityananda's feet. And they just and then Jagai said, "Well, in this village, Jagai and Madai and I were sinners, and Lord, you are all compassionate." He's seeing his brothers totally transformed by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And he's saying, "Well, my Lord, you must give me the mercy. We committed all these crimes together, and of course we were grow from the same family, and you are very merciful to everyone." And Lord Chaitanya said, "Not for lifetimes. You will suffer for lifetimes for striking Lord Nityananda." He says, "How could you say that to me? Give me some hope." And Nityananda interrupted. He said, "Just give him to me. Give him to me." And Lord Chaitanya said, "Okay, you can go to Lord Nityananda, and if he forgives you, then you'll be forgiven." And Lord Nityananda embraced him. And of course, again, he showed how to behave, how we have to deal. And isn't it true? You just turn on the TV and it's just chaos. People are just hating on each other constantly. How do you deal with that? Do you change them by hating them? No. You change them by loving them. You change by loving them hard, digging in, find the fact that they're a spirit soul. You give them bhakti. It really changes people's heart. I'm sure you've met people like that. Hardened people.
Oh, I thought you meant the compassion one. I was saying I wasn't saying you were the hardened person. I was saying
The hardened person, you reached into my heart and changed me. And he
But
said, all you have to do is just follow my orders and move forward. All your sins from the past are forgotten. Do you know how many sins we did, my Lord? They're
doesn't
all
matter.
forgotten. You just move forward.
These were violent, dangerous criminals.
Yeah, they were murderers.
It just there's just something about the picture of Haridas Thakur, because what happened was they approached them, right? Everybody's saying, "Don't approach them. They're dangerous. These guys are dangerous. Don't mess with them."
Criminals.
And they're like, and that threat didn't deter them an iota. As a matter of fact, it seems like it just spurred them on even more. Both Haridas Thakur and Nityananda, like, oh, perfect. These are the people.
Oh, they're that bad? That means if we can help them, then we're going to prove that Lord Chaitanya is Patita Pavana, the savior of the most fallen.
They saw it as an opportunity.
Yeah. Like if these people could be transformed, here's the deal. If there's a great saintly person already and you transform them to a greater saintly person, you don't miss it. You don't even notice much. But if you take someone who's in the dregs of material existence and bring them up to a high platform, that's impressive.
Sure.
That's what Prabhupada's so impressive. It goes back to the gurus.
That's just thinking that it's when you have a figure like Prabhupada, it's so clear that it's Nityananda's energy working through him, right?
Like the story of
who's a greater example, of embodying that potency, that energy of Nityananda. So anyway, but then the idea.
Want to tell the story? Want to tell the story about Pigpen?
Pigpen.
Raghunath Swami tells a story about this devotee. It was like Pigpen.
I don't know anything about the Pigpen story, but
anyway,
I was but my point is this: when they actually Nityananda and Haridas approached these two twice. So the first time they just went up and they made everybody's saying, "Don't mess with these dangerous criminals. You don't know if you'll survive." They're like, "No, we got this." And so then they went and made their appeal, but the response was they immediately were being chased by Jagai and Madai.
Yeah.
But as they're being chased, Haridas Thakur and Nityananda are laughing, right? Like they're
laughing, they're blissful.
And they're making fun of each other, like, "Look at what you got us in here. Look at you and your whole attitude. It's like, you just want to do the craziest stuff, and now my life is on the line.
Such a madman. You're gonna get me in trouble. You're trying to get us killed."
Haridas Thakur, like this elderly, most saintly man, is running down the street now, being chased by these dangerous criminals with Lord Nityananda, and he's saying, "Look at what you got me into." And Lord Nityananda is saying, "Me, it's not me. It's your Lord Sri Chaitanya that's caused this problem. You know,
Lord
he's the one
Chaitanya
that
is a
told us to come out
madman.
and
He's
do
ordered us to do this.
that.
It's so
There's
funny. When I was
something-
reading that dialogue the other day, I was thinking that sounded like you and me just bantering back and forth.
Well, that's kind of part of what's so beautiful and mysterious about it is the fact that the humor in it.
Yeah.
The joy in there's a joy in serving. You know, there's a joy in serving Krishna that you can enjoy under any circumstances. Even you're being chased by these criminals. You know, it's like, and there's a humor that never goes away. Or let's put it this way: there's a humor from which our humor stems, and and to see it play out in these ways is there's something very entertaining and charming about it, but there's even just something that's even like more grave about it, that's or more deeply beautifully mysterious about it. You know, I want to understand that more deeply. You know, understand Nityananda, who he is, what is his mood, what is he feeling, what is
Sure,
those are the kind of things. You know,
You coming to me? Coming to you for some help?
well, I was looking. I thought that the man that might be able to help me with this would be wearing fish shoes and have a curly mustache. I think you should. I think you should put on your fish shoes, wax up your mustache,
Fish flops. Thank you.
take a few copies of your book, and go to the Calcutta Book Fair, like part 2. You know, and just show up there as like an intellectual. You know, just like I have my book. I'm an author. Taking note my mustache and my fish shoes. What do you say?
I remember you from 37 years ago when you were here
It
making
wasn't
a
pretty.
spectacle of yourself. Okay, let's get on with the show here, my friend. Enough of your
down.
squirrels.
All right.
Narayanam namaskrityanam chaivanarottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tatojayam mudiriyat. Before we start the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloki bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agana Timarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmadatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a new chapter.
That's right.
Canto 8, Chapter 24, Text 1, and it's entitled Matsya, the Lord's Fish Incarnation.
Yeah. This is the last chapter of the 8th canto, and I suppose after hearing many chapters about the Vamanadev incarnation, the dwarf incarnation, that now Maharaj Pariksit just turns to Sukadeva Goswami and says, you know, I've heard about this fish incarnation. That strikes me as unusual. Why would the Supreme Lord, you know, look at Lord Vishnu, what to speak of Krishna, why would they come as a fish? A fish.
Good question.
Yeah. And so we get a whole chapter on
boar.
this. Yeah, boar, fish.
I think
All
the
right.
boar is maybe the most peculiar one.
To us, it is. I'm not sure if, like, in India it necessarily would have been, but maybe.
I think so.
Turtle.
Okay. Tortoise.
Is it turtle or tortoise?
I don't know.
Okay.
Which ones live in the ocean? Tortoises or turtles?
I think turtles.
Where do tortoises live? Oh, in the
They're
desert?
kind of half water,
They're
half
desert
land. On the
turtles?
desert. Not on the desert.
Aren't there desert turtles?
I don't think so.
Did I just make that up? What are those
We're
giant...
squirreling out. Okay.
Okay.
That one Cthulhu
There's some
stuff's big.
scientists listening now. Wait, Maris.
Tortoises live. You'll find them living in habitats as varied as dry deserts to tropical forests.
There you
But
go.
I think they're more land animals.
Desert turtles.
More land animals.
So which one's in the water? Tortoise or
Turtle.
Turtle.
turtles are in the water?
Yep.
Okay. And then there's freshwater turtles, saltwater turtles, milk ocean turtles.
Thank you.
But enough
for
of that. We're on fish.
Thank you, Miss Jane Goodall. That was Mr. Nature over here. A second ago, you didn't know the difference between a turtle and a tortoise, and now you're lecturing us about all the varieties of them.
Text 1. Mirage Prickett said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, is eternally situated in his transcendental position. Yet he descends to this material world and manifests himself in various incarnations.
He plays in
first
so many different
incarnation-
ways.
Yeah.
Right?
His first incarnation was that of great fish. Oh, powerful Sukadeva Goswami. I wish to hear from you the pastimes of that fish incarnation. Text 2 and text 3. What was the purpose for which the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepted the abominable form of a fish?
Now hold it.
Ouch.
That's a bit of a judgment.
That's a bit of a judgment call. I mean, there are some ugly fish out there, but abominable? I guess.
Well, let's hear what more he has to say.
Exactly as an ordinary living being accepts different forms under the laws of karma.
Yeah,
Like, why
so,
would
like,
it pick that
if you-
form? I guess
if
that's
you-
our
if you-
question, too. Why a fish?
What?
Why a boar? I guess we just asked that question. I just
Yeah,
didn't
that's
call
what
it
he's asking.
abominable.
Yeah. Well, I think he's saying it's abominable because it's an uncomfortable position to be in. I think that's coming up next.
Okay. The form of a fish is certainly condemned and full of terrible pain.
You see? He seems
Is
to
it?
know something that we don't know.
Some insight about the mind of a fish. Well, first of
Yeah.
all, fish are living in fear constantly,
See?
right?
Another fish is going to come and eat you.
Yeah, there's always fear that someone's going to take you out. You're always sort of skittish. Have you ever seen like a peaceful fish?
I don't know. I have.
We
I
were
don't
just
see
by-
fish too often. I live on the land.
We we were just looking at some koi. Ever see koi fish? They have this koi pond at this hotel, but the water's so low and the fish are getting bigger, and the fish are like almost like if they could. I know if they could, and it was beautiful lily pond, but these koi just got bigger, and I felt, and they were. I was like, if these koi could talk, they would probably be like, please put more water in here. It's just like
Yeah.
they're almost
Yeah,
coming
that's-
out of the water to tell us that.
Well, that's going to play
Anyway.
into this pastime too.
My fish experience. Okay.
Well, no, but the idea of the fishes, and by the way, I think this has been copied by Dr. Seuss, but this is the original story about the fish that you put in a bowl, but it's growing and growing. The fish keeps growing, and it needs to be put in a bigger bowl.
You think
and
Dr.
a
Seuss copied it from the Srimad Bhagavatam?
I do.
Okay.
You think that just, was a coincidence?
I think you can come up with ideas of growing fishes without reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, especially if you're a
Well,
child's author.
ultimately, it's the super soul that gave it to him. Then.
Well, then ultimately.
All right, let's keep going.
All right. Text 4. Sudha Goswami said, when Prickett Maharaj thus inquired from Sukadeva
You skipped
Goswami,
a sentence there, though.
that-
I think. Didn't you? Did you miss a sentence? Kindly explain
No.
this to
Oh.
us.
kindly
do that?
explain this to us, the fish incarnation, for hearing about these pastimes of the Lord is auspicious for everyone.
Okay.
So now Suta's speaking. He's witnessing. Suta is witnessing the conversation between Prickett and Sukadeva Goswami. When Maharaj thus inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, though, that most powerful saintly person began describing the pastimes of the Lord's incarnation as a fish. Sri
What did he say?
Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, for the sake of protecting the cows, the Brahmins, the demigods, the devotees, and the Vedic literature, religious principles, and the principles to fulfill the purpose of life, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts the forms of incarnations.
Okay, so there's the reason, right? It's to protect.
Like the air passing through different types of atmospheres, the personality of Godhead, although appearing sometimes as a human being and sometimes as a lower animal, is always transcendental because he is above the material modes of nature. He is unaffected by higher and lower forms, right?
Okay.
So
yeah.
because he's God in the form of a pig, it doesn't mean he's actually being piggish. Because he's a fish, that doesn't mean he's
Suffering.
skittish and in fear. Right.
Yeah, earlier Maharaj Parikar was saying, I get it when someone accrues a certain type of karma, then they're forced to take on the body of a fish and be born as a fish and suffer as a fish.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't God beyond karma? So why would he voluntarily take that role? And here's being saying, no, he doesn't. He takes on that fish body, but it's not like he's having the experience of a normal fish.
Okay, text 7. O king, at the end of the past millennium, at the end of Brahma's day, right? Because Lord Brahma sleeps during the night, annihilation took place, and the 3 worlds were covered by the water of the ocean. At the end of Brahma's day, when Brahma felt sleepy and desired to lie down, the Vedas were emanating from his mouth. And that great demon named Hayagriva, and the great demon named Hayagriva stole the Vedic knowledge. Wait a second.
Yeah, there's a demon apparently named Hayagriva as well, as a avatar, both.
That's peculiar and confusing.
That's there's you for a spin.
Yeah, it took me. A demon named Hayagriva. Understanding the acts of the great demon Hayagriva, the supreme personality of Godhead Hari, who is full of all opulences, assumed the form of a fish and saved the Vedas by killing the demon. Now, during the Chakshus Manvantar...
Hold on, slow down. Maybe you didn't hear it. We're giving that look. I think maybe I lagged, so you didn't hear it when I started speaking.
Okay, I think must have lagged. You wouldn't have been so rude to me.
I thought you were being rude, but I think it's just that technology letting us down. Brahma here is lying down to sleep. The Vedas are emanating from his mouth. And this demon named Hayagriva steals the Vedic knowledge. What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? I never thought about that.
Yeah.
What does that mean? How do you steal the Vedic knowledge?
And and I don't know exactly what, sometimes we hear that the Vedas are like personified, right?
Yeah.
So like
Because
maybe that
everything
could be
is
stolen.
personality.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't mean books, like there are a bunch of books emanating from his mouth,
Yeah.
But I think, it's safe to say that this has something to do with, there's this eternal body of knowledge called the Veda. We always say it's apurushaya, right? It's not created by any human being. It's there always, and it is the knowledge by which we understand our existence. It's the knowledge by which we understand the nature of this world. It's the knowledge by which we understand the nature of God. It's the knowledge by which we understand the nature of ourselves.
Apurashaya. That's a good one.
Apurushaya, not
Right.
It's not man-made. Yeah.
Who created God? God is Apurashaya, right? He's
He is as
ever
well.
existing,
Yeah.
ever existing knowledge, ever existing way to understand how to get to him.
And so we hear in these texts, in the Veda itself, we hear how the knowledge of the Veda, it becomes exposed and then it becomes covered. It becomes accessible and then it becomes inaccessible. Right? It becomes more accessible and then less accessible. It always exists, and there are always those people that are connected with it. But sometimes it's very covered and sometimes it's more exposed.
Sure.
And so, so what exactly this means, I don't know what exactly it means that the demon Hayagriva stole the Vedic knowledge, but whether it's through misinterpretation or some type of obstruction or some kind of misuse of that knowledge, but somehow it got in the hands of the wrong person. Somehow it got in the hands of the wrong person, and it was in danger of being largely lost or far less accessible. And so the theft of the Vedas by Hayagriva has something to do with that, but more than that, I don't know if I can really say. What it means that it was emanating from his mouth, that's hard to say.
He's speaking it.
But he's in his sleep.
You ever talk in your sleep?
I don't know.
Lord Brahma, when he talks in his sleep, it's not just a jibber jabber. He's speaking the Vedas.
Yeah, and somehow it seems like it could be somehow wrestled from him or something like that. Whether it was only for a certain amount of time, whether he was just blocking the flow. I didn't find anything.
Okay. Anyway, we know that there's times historically where knowledge disappears. It appears to be extinct, but then it remanifests itself. We see that with bhakti too. It has resurrections. It disappears from public view. It comes back again.
Hmm.
You know,
And,
it's
and
like
I
the
suppose
Michigan black panther, or the
exactly.
Adirondack panther. There's Adirondack panthers, but there you don't see them
I
that
would
much.
go
They're
more
hidden.
with the Michigan panther in this case, Raghunath.
Yeah. Okay.
Less with the Adirondack panther.
They're
Go
out
ahead.
there, but no one sees them. Occasional farmer sees them, but they were there in full force in the turn of the century.
Mm. Okay, but you know, there's also what's taught through these texts is the I suppose another part of it is just to kind of instill an appreciation for the Veda or the Vedic knowledge,
Sure.
how valuable it is, how it needs to be protected. So much, you know, I heard a really interesting lecture by Radhika Raman Prabhu that was about, it was about learning Sanskrit, not learning it in depth, but just learning how to chant some of the meters for verses and learning some of the very basic grammar.
Yeah.
But he was speaking, you know, when we hear that the Vedas were handed down orally, that they weren't written. Okay, well that's again, you know, whether you're talking just the Vedas or if you're going to talk about all the Vedic knowledge, which I think we said was like about 520,000 verses.
Yeah.
How do you memorize all that? You know, or and it's, I suppose it's not that many people were memorizing it all, but there may have been certain people that were memorizing certain parts of it, right? In India to this day, you have families that are named after how many of the four Vedas they mastered, right? There's some people's last name is Chaturvedi.
Trivedi's.
Trivedi.
Chaturvedi's.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's sad. The more I
There's a
study,
huge-
the more I realize there's so much to know. And I'm already 59 years old. It's like
Well,
I'm
you know what
so
they say, Robert.
behind.
You know
I'm
what they
so
say.
behind. Well, I just feel like and as I'm older, it's hard for me to study. I need like the Bhagavatam. I need the Upanishads. I need them all in like 1 minute video clips, fast moving.
Yeah, we need to produce more of that kind of stuff. I did give you the children's version of the Bhagavatam stories there for your birthday. Remember that?
Thank
Still
you.
carrying that around?
Thank you. That was for my birthday.
Yeah.
It's like
You
I
seem
think
happy now.
Raghunath can
You
handle
look happy
this.
now.
It's got lots of pictures. It's got.
But you know,
But you know what I
they
mean? It
say,
really is. It gets. I'm dead serious. I'm actually a little depressed. It's like
I'm going to share something with you, Raghunath.
I've got too much to learn, and I'm already 59.
I'm going to share something with you. It may help.
Tell me.
It may not. It may help. They say
Tell me.
that one should do sadhana like they're going to die tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and they should study as if they're going to live forever. So don't let the fact that you only have so many years left deter you from remaining a diligent student.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. All right, now, I was trying to make a point, but I forget what it was now. What were we talking about a moment ago before you took over?
Fish.
No, not that.
Mountain lions, panthers, black panthers.
No! I was talking about the class that I heard from Radhika Raman. How can someone memorize so much?
Yeah.
And he named like 7 different things that explained how people would memorize. You know, the intonation was part of it. You know, it's all slipping my mind right now. My memory's so bad.
You're old
right?
too. You're old too.
But you know, one of the reasons was you studied it together. You chanted the verses together, right? So like, if you get 15 people chanting them together every day, and you do that every day, and you do that, you know, you grow up doing that every day, starting when you're 8 years old. By the time you're 25 years old, and you keep doing it like your whole life, you keep chanting the Purusha Sukta, you keep chanting the Vishnu Sahasranama, you keep chanting these Vedic compositions. Then because there's so many people, it's a process of preservation. If someone makes a mistake, one person went wrong, but 14 still got it right. It remains, and the one, you know, rectifies it, you know? So one was you do it all together. Another had to do with intonation and the meters that are used that make it more memorable and so on. But he gave a really strong argument that actually writing is a really weak method of preservation, particularly before there were printing presses. Writing,
Right.
it was so, what it would take to write something down in the mechanical form of writing it down is so prone to mistakes.
Think of it like this. Writing is to our memory what calculators are to our math. It doesn't actually, it's not, they say that the people who actually studied the Vedas and can recite the Vedas, a lot of them were illiterates. They couldn't read.
Yeah,
There's
they wouldn't
something about
actually-
reading
right.
things that it takes away a type of your memory.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
read this in that book by Richard Dalrymple, Nine
Oh, yeah.
Lives.
Oh,
It was about these traveling groups of people that used to go town to town, and they would just recite the Vedas or recite stories from the Ramayana and all these other epics, but they weren't just telling stories like I tell stories. They were actually reciting them verse to verse. And they said that when these once you start to, and they were all illiterates, and they said once you start to learn how to write, it sort of lessens the intelligence or the ability to hold these things in your mind.
yeah. Just like before there was GPS, everybody learned how to read a map, and you would just like memorize how to get to places.
Yeah, you
Now
understand
you don't need it.
where is
Yeah.
north and south. And before that,
Yeah.
people learned how to use the stars.
Or
And
before
before
there
that,
were,
before your watch, they learned how to use a sundial.
or before the iPhone or whatever, you memorized phone numbers. You actually memorized the phone numbers.
I
Like,
know.
you
Think
have at
about all
least
the
15,
phone numbers
20 phone numbers.
we don't know. I don't know your phone number.
I
You're like
don't
my
know my
best
own
friend.
phone number
I
practically.
don't. I don't know Mary's phone number. I
You
talk
see
to this
that?
lady every day.
I know.
If my cell phone died, I'd be like, okay, that was enough for
I'll
her.
never see Mary again.
Gotta find a new girl. Gotta find a new partner.
I don't know how to get a hold of her.
I don't know. She's not on Instagram. She never checks her Instagram. I guess I'm just gonna have to let her go.
So yeah. So there's another point that he said. What was it? It was just on my mind. Just see how weak it is.
Just see,
Okay.
Kaustubha, you're
Okay.
old.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But oh no, another thing he said was that our culture, we kind of place visual evidence at the top of the pyramid. Like we kind of see that as most important. We
See
kind
it
of
is
go
to believe it.
It's our yes. It's seeing as believing. It's kind of our default form of information gathering.
Like
He said
like Missouri, the show me state.
another excellent
me and I'll
example.
believe it. Huh?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And whereas he was saying that the Vedic culture, hearing was seen as far more important than seeing. Hearing.
Isn't it
came
interesting? Isn't that interesting? The entire state is their motto is based on cynicism.
first. Oh,
Like, I don't believe you unless you show me.
that can be healthy though. I don't know if that's cynicism. It's just
Skepticism, lack of trust.
skepticism.
Talk about scripting yourself. Okay, anyway.
All right. Shall we continue?
The Sunshine State. Quiz me on what state, and I'll tell you its title, its subtitle. Quiz me. Pick a
I
state.
could think of better ways to spend our time.
Just quiz me. Farrah, quiz me.
Idaho,
Maine?
the potato state.
Maine.
Does it have anything to do with lakes or something? Or that's Michigan.
That's Michigan, land of lakes. Okay, got me with Maine. Thank you.
Do you know any of them? Iowa, go. Do you know any of them?
No, I don't.
You seem like you're coming on real strong there for a moment.
I got Connecticut. Oh, Martine says the Pine State. Are you sure? I think
There we
I
go.
question that,
Are
Martine.
you sure, Martine?
I don't think it is the Pine State.
I know that you live
but
there, but
Okay.
all right, let's keep this
Okay.
moving.
I don't know Iowa either.
Someone's stealing
Really?
all the knowledge of the universe right now. This is important.
Pine
Text
State,
9.
Okay. Okay, text 9. Connecticut, quick.
Constitution state or
Very
something like
good.
that?
Very good. Text 9. Understanding the acts of the great demon Hayagriva, the supreme personality of Godhead Hari, who is full of opulences, assumed the form of a fish and saved the Vedas by killing that demon.
Interesting.
Now, during the Chakshus Manvantar, that's a time in history,
Era.
an era, yeah. There was a great king named Satyavrata, who was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
What does
Satyavrata
Satyavrata
performed,
mean?
and Mara, let's quiz you on your Sanskrit. Mara, what does Satyavrata mean? See what you.
Like a vow of truth, like
Yeah,
vrata.
Very
like,
good. Very
yeah.
One who's true to their vows, maybe?
Yeah, Satyavrata. Very good, Mara. Satyavrata performed austerities by subsisting only on water. That's a thing. People do it.
Austere.
Yeah. I think there's a guy in Mayapur who just drinks water.
There was a guy, Raghunath, and this is documented. I'm sure I must have mentioned this on the show before. But his name was, I believe his name was Prahlad. And it was said that he didn't eat or drink at all.
I know who that is. He's got like 3-letter names, like HJK, something like that. And
I
it
thought
was
his name was
documented. And well, it might have been HKK Prahlad, something like that.
Okay.
But he only lived on. He was a sun gazer. Just looked at the sun.
Yeah.
He fed himself through sunlight.
Yeah,
And he didn't eat anything. Occasionally, he would drink some water, but for the most part, he was fed on.
No. He didn't drink any
Occasionally.
water. Raghunath,
Sometimes.
don't. Raghunath.
How would he have saliva in his mouth? Come on.
Oh, now look who's cynical. See that? No, he wouldn't drink any water. He wouldn't drink any water. You see, that's what you think. See, Mr. Dr. Frog over here. Okay. No, he didn't drink any water. And they brought in the skeptics and they did a whole documentary on him and they had him locked in a room. And he said, I just need a room that faces where there's a window facing the sun. Somehow he was able, through the air and the sun, they say like in the back of his throat, it would create something would develop back there and he couldn't live off of it, you know? And
sun gazing. It's a thing. I could see you on that skeptic panel.
Well, I'm willing to, be one of the guys that's going to verify whether this is real or not. I think you need to be on the skeptic panel.
I would be
You're
with
like
him holding pinkies, sun
A
gazing.
second ago, you were saying that he needs to drink water.
Well, I think occasionally us sun gazers need to drink a
You
little.
see, you're still stuck there.
Occasionally, some coconut water, something for the electrolytes.
That's coconut water. Does coconut water count? But you can Google that. Or you can go to YouTube and look that up.
Yeah, just put sun gazer, famous Indian sun gazer.
Okay. I don't know if the sun gazer would do it, but
There, Google that.
Okay, but in any case, Satyavrata is living off just water.
Okay.
You don't have a problem with that, right? You're okay with that?
Yeah, that you could do. Satyavrata, the king of Dravida Desh. Wait a second. One day, while King Satyavrata was performing austerities by offering water on the bank of the
No. Text 11, you got to read now.
Text 11. In this, the present millennium, King Satyavrata later became the son of Vivishvan, the king of the sun planet, and was known as Shraddhadev.
Interesting.
By the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
There are Shraddhadev. What does that mean?
Shraddhadev, Mara. What does that mean? And Shraddha, the god of faith. Very good. Mara's 2 for 2 today.
Nice.
Except she didn't know anything about tortoises or turtles.
No,
You looked it up, Mara, but you went to private school. I thought that stuff would be on the tip of your tongue. One day, while King Satyavrata was performing austerities by offering
by the
water.
mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was given the post of Manu.
Okay.
Clearing that up. All right. One day,
while King Satyavrata was performing austerities by offering water on the bank of the river Kritamala, a small fish appeared in the water in his palms. Ever do that? You just pick up some water and you feel a little guppier.
Never happened to me.
No, you got to hang out more in nature. Has
it ever happened to you? Well, no.
Sometimes it has on many occasions, my friend.
Okay. All right.
One day, while King Satyavrata was performing austerities by
you just read that. Text 13 now. 13. That's the 4th or 5th time you've read that verse.
Satyavrata, the king of Dravida Desh, threw the fish into the water of the river along with the water of his palm. O king, O king,
Okay,
with an
Pritchett.
appealing voice. The poor small fish said to King Satyavrata, who was
Here we
very
go.
merciful, "My dear king, protector of the poor, why are you throwing me in the water of the river, where there are other aquatics who can kill me? I am very much afraid of them."
Exactly like you said, Raghunath.
Right? That's right. That's why fish are. They're in a horrible state of being because they're always in anxiety. To please himself, King Satyavrata, not knowing that the fish was the supreme personality of Godhead, decided with great pleasure to give the fish protection. The merciful king, being moved by the pitiable words of the fish, placed the fish in a water jug and brought him to his own residence. I used to do that when I was a kid. Catch fish, put them in my little fish tank.
Okay.
But in one night, that fish grew so much that he could not move his body comfortably in the water of the pot. He then spoke to the king as follows: "Mara, this is just like the koi fish we saw today.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh, my dear king, I do not like living in this water pot with such great difficulty. Therefore, please find some better reservoir of water where I can live comfortably."
You
Then,
know what?
taking
You're
the
a
fish,
talking fish. You can get whatever you want, right? Like...
you're a talking fish. This is like a Charlotte's Web over here. Some pig. "Oh, my dear king, I do not like living in this water pot with such great difficulty. Therefore, please find some better reservoir of water where I can live comfortably." Then, taking the fish out of the water pot, the king threw him in a large well. But within a moment, the fish developed to the length of 3 cubits. What's a cubit, Mara? Is that an English measurement? A British measurement?
Cubit.
Okay, she's going to check. There were a lot of cool old measurements.
An ancient measure of length approximately equal to the length of a forearm,
Length of a forearm, a cubit.
18 inches.
Okay, he's a pretty big fish.
It's pretty big. Um,
The fish then
Mar-
said,
the fish then said, "My dear king, this reservoir of water is not fit for my happy residence. Please give me more extensive pool of water, where I've taken shelter of you."
at this point,
King took the
I start to
fish.
wonder,
Right at
you
this
know,
point, I'd be like, "Well, fish,
where's this
they
gonna
say,
end?
will grow. Some fish will grow as big as the container you put them in. If you keep them in a smaller container, they'll stay small. But this is no ordinary
Not
fish.
this fish. And this is happening very fast.
It's going very quickly. The king took the fish from the well and threw him in a lake. Oh no. But the fish then assumed a gigantic form exceeding the extent of a water. The fish said, "O king, I am a large aquatic, and this water is not at all suitable for me. Now kindly find some way to save me. It would be better to put me in the water of a lake that will never reduce." That's a problem. How do you move them at this point?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Right? Did I just crack the whole Bhagavatam here with that question? Maybe elephants and
He's got a whole army, probably.
yeah. When thus requested, King Satyavrata took the fish to the largest reservoir of water. But then that also
But
proved
when?
insufficient. The king at last threw the gigantic fish into the ocean. Oh, that must be horrible, though. The ocean is salt water. It must hurt him.
He can handle it.
While being thrown in the ocean, the fish said to King Satyavrata, "O hero, in this water there are very powerful and dangerous sharks that will eat me. Therefore, you should not throw me in this place." Isn't it interesting? They were worried about sharks even back then. After hearing these sweet words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of a fish, the king, being bewildered, asked him, "Who are you, sir? You simply bewilder us." I think he should have asked that question the moment the fish started speaking
talking.
English. Yeah, or Sanskrit.
All right, maybe we leave it here. This will be a cliffhanger.
Oh.
I'm dying to figure out what that fit. It is like the Dr. Seuss book. You were right.
Thank you.
You guys
Okay.
ready for
Oh,
stickers?
let's talk to Miss Mara. See what she
I was thinking,
learned.
was it announced that there's no show tomorrow? But did we even
No, I
have
didn't make any
announcements today?
announcents.
Yeah, we
didn't do
flew right by you,
announcements.
Mayor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mara.
It's okay.
You know what? Mara's so humble. She doesn't even correct us.
That's okay. There's no show tomorrow, we should mention, because we're traveling. And also no
Right.
show on Thursday. Because,
Okay.
Because I'm traveling.
yeah. And today is where
Why isn't Kaustubha doing the show tomorrow? I
He's
got
gotta
three
do
in a
it
row
on
for him.
Thursday.
He
he's
owes
got
me
a
a
whole
couple.
lot of people in Mayapur going on.
Why aren't you doing it on
Oh,
Thursday? Oh,
Back to our announcements. It's Wear Your Merch Monday.
excuse me? What was that symbol you just...
three.
What about
A
3?
gang sign, 3. I did 3 shows in a row.
It's Wear
Oh,
Your Merch Monday today.
congratulations.
Help us promote the show by wearing your Wisdom of the Sages merchandise. Take a picture and share it on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll share the post.
Mara's wearing her shirt.
You can find our merch at wisdomofthesages.com.
Miss
Yeah.
Mara.
All right. And for our takeaways, transmission of Krishna consciousness is by Nityananda's mercy.
Right.
Yep.
Give bhakti even to the worst criminals.
Go find some Calcutta criminals tonight, Raghunath, and give it.
Nityananda is
one.
beautiful. Nityananda is beautiful, wild, and the most compassionate.
Mm-hmm.
There's joy in service under any circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
One should study as if they'll live forever and do sadhana like they'll die tomorrow.
That's
Kaustubha
right.
gets credit for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Gandhi and a lot of other people do too.
Okay.
Nityananda shows us how to love hard.
Love hard.
That's
Like that, Kaustubha?
That's
I
the
said
name
that
of your
'cause it
book.
was like-
Love Hard.
Love hard by Raghunath.
God can take any incarnation,
Yes, he
Tough
can.
love.
even a fish. Chant together every day.
Yes.
And oh no, I'm not queued up here.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
fish are always in anxiety.
Yeah.
It's a tough life.
Or they're dead. Killing fish left and right nowadays.
Right?
Ever see Conspiracy, Mara?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, Conspiracy. Check out that movie, Conspiracy. Same guy did
We're
Christ.
getting into it over here, Raghu.
Got people there? Spin your camera. Let me say hi. Thanks everybody for joining us. Got a live crew there. Who is that?
Mikey
Dan Murphy?
Goldberg.
Oh, it's Mikey Goldberg. Hey, Mikey. Blow that up. Mikey. Oh, yeah.
Brother Nature.
Nature's there.
What else we got?
Hey, he's back.
Cars came back.
Shakar's back. Went to Israel and
He's
came back. Is that Tara over there?
Tara's back
I
there.
can't see. It's a big flag. That's Isabella. All right. Look how you guys live. Oh, look who there. Celine and Krishnamai. How are both of you guys?
Oh,
Ah, we miss you here.